Good morning to everyone. And it's nice to see everyone bright and early, 8 o'clock on Tuesday. It is going to be our first session after uh, the departure of our uh, long-standing friend and colleague, Bernie Yap, who I think is here today. Bernie, hello. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, it's nice to see you here again. It'll be the first in a series of long sessions where you will be sorely missed after 19 long years of keeping the flame of the Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation alive. So anyway, we're glad to see you here, and we're glad to see a lot of our other members already here this early. We're sure others are going to join us this morning, especially since our topic this morning is honestly very, very interesting. Food security, especially from the point of view of an LGU here in Metro Manila, what lessons we can learn from that. So, and after country comes all of the people that make all of this possible to our wonderful members and generous donors for the Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation, to our individual members, corporate members, our partner institutions, special partner institutions, senior special partner institutions, everyone without whom we would not be here today. The Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation is a non-profit member-supported organization in partnership with the Management Association of the Philippines. And it is only through your generosity that we are able to bring you our sessions and work for the betterment of our country um, through agribusiness and countryside development for poverty alleviation through job creation in our country. Okay, once again, good morning to everyone. And it is wonderful to see you all bright and early. I see some familiar names already in our audience. If you are joining us 2 weeks later through our social media uploads, uh, good morning or good afternoon or good evening, depending on wherever in the world you are. And we're very happy that you're with us again, especially as we look at examples from the Philippines regarding food security through urban agriculture and land use in our local settings. We hope that the information that we present to you today will be of value to you. Perhaps you are involved in local efforts for urban agriculture or for food security within an urban setting. Uh, Let us know who you are, what you do. Leave a comment down below. We'd be very happy to learn from you as well. Or maybe you have questions for our speaker. Leave a question in our comments, or you can email us. Our links are in the description. If we have brought you any value at all today to our sessions or to any of our previous sessions, do consider joining us as a member. As I mentioned, it is only through your generosity that we're able to bring you what we do, and we'd be very happy to have you on board. Our links are in the description. You can send us an email, introduce yourself, and we'd be very happy to have you with us. Okay, so it is, well, normally I'd ask our chairman to introduce our speaker this morning, but I also want to address our membership that once again, today is the first session that we have uh, after the departure. Well, departure sounds like you passed away. I'm sorry, Bernie. I don't mean it that way. Without Bernie Yap, the bearer of the flame, the bearer of the flame, envisioned by Ramon Ilosorio and by the Management Association of the Philippines. When they set up the Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation all the way back in 1997. So we're very happy to see you with us again today, Bernie. We're very honored by your presence that you continue to join us. We've actually been talking about it a little bit, and we hope that we'll have the opportunity maybe to honor you and to Multinational Foundation Incorporated, MFI, for really continuing to support and keep the light of Ramon Ilosorio alive and the light of the Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation alive. So we hope that, well, we hope to have our General Assembly, one of our first face-to-face General Assembly in July of this year. Uh, in which we hope to honor you and MFI for your significant and important contributions, really, to the foundation for so long. Bernie, you've been with us for 19 years. Is that correct?
More or less.
More or less 19 years. Maybe you'd like to say a few words about
No,
19
no, no,
years.
no.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, but really, we would not be here without you. I would not be here. We wouldn't be continuing this work without you and all of your effort in really bringing weekly sessions, almost 50 sessions every year of speakers trying to find opportunities for agribusiness and countryside development, finding opportunities for poverty alleviation through job creation. Honestly, it is an incredibly significant and important task, one that you carried for so long, and we truly are grateful for everything that you've done. We hope to invite you and Ed and other people from MFI, even for just a way for us to show our appreciation for you. Um, yeah, really, it's hard. Words are it's hard to find the words because it's very hard to really express the fullness of gratitude for 19 years of work, 19 years of carrying the light of that was ignited by Ramon Ilosorio all these years ago, and even further back by the members of the Management Association of the Philippines in 1997 when they set up this foundation. So truly, truly thankful for everything that you've done for us, and we hope that um, you continue to be with us for this journey, even if you might not be taking such an active role anymore. As we continue as you pass the torch on to us, and as we continue the mission and vision that has been set for us all those years ago. So thank you very much, Bernie, and I hope that and I hope that I have been able to at least express a little bit of the gratitude that we all feel for you and to MFI for supporting us all these years. Okay, so with that, I'd like to ask our chairman, Ernie Ordonez, to open our session for this morning. Ernie, please come in.
Yes, thank you. But as we talked last night, I want to say a few words about Bernie.
Yes, please.
This is very, very important this first time. Actually, I went to ChatGPT and artificial intelligence and asked, is there anybody in the world who's given like 19 years every week technology forum, right? And they said they know of no such group. But anyway, I'd like to let you know, I've seen this because I'm a little older than Julius. I've been with them a little longer. And there's something that says somebody reigns and somebody rules, you know. Ramon Sorry is the brain behind this, he reigns. But actually, you know who ruled? It was Bernie Up. Bernie Up did everything. And without Bernie, I don't will be totally lost. But anyway, Bernie, just to let you know, you and I were extremely grateful. So we're going to give a big ceremony during the General Assembly, not here, we have a big General Assembly. And in fact, we have a special dinner. We go a special dinner for you and Russ, I think, next week, right? But anyway, so let me proceed. But Bernie, I joined Julius in giving our thanks to you. And as I said, I think nobody in the world has been able to do every week technology forums. Even ChatGPT cannot find one. Okay, so let's go. All right. The speaker today, we're very honored, is Emmanuel U. Velasco. They call him Nonong. And actually, he's actually helping the country a lot because he has a few roles, one of which is very important on food security, etc. No? But anyway, what we'll do here is we'll have him introduce himself with his background and all that. But as we do, we want a personal connection. And I want everybody listening, all 600 of you who come for a month now, to get to know the person, right? So we're asking him to first give his contact number, office, or cell phone, whatever. So around the world, you can call him, right? With the internet. Call him directly, you don't have to go through us. And give 5 to 10 minutes of our background. What made him where he is today? What motivated him to go into this? Why not something which maybe gives financially higher returns, like going to the multinational banks, etc. Right? what brought him here? What made him come here, and what's his passion, all that. But then we have a personal connection. Then we started to talk, right? And the second one, which you want to do all the time, is what can we here do to use his knowledge to achieve our goal. I remember it was conscious involvement in our name, but when the board met, they wanted to put poverty reduction, right? In other words, what we do here, what can we do to actually reduce poverty? If not reduce poverty, make me realize. In other words, we measure ourselves not in terms of this technology forum, but in terms of what happens after this forum. So we'd like our speaker to tell us what we can possibly do. And so, because if we're students, you don't exactly what we're going to do, but we're already professionals given by God certain experiences, and we want to use that where it's banking, government contacts, network, and other people. What can we do to pursue his ambition and to fulfill Ramon Ilsor's goal that this is not just forum, this action from the forum. So on that note, I'd like to have Nonong Velasco introduce himself. Of course, his title is, the title of the talk is Idle Land Tax Used for Urban Farming, but he can go beyond that if he wishes. And I'd like to say we're very honored. I've heard about him before, and actually very honored to have him. And in a sense, the first time we're without the wind beneath our wings when he's done with us. But I'm glad it's him because it's really gonna start us on our new journey with a bang. And we're so happy we have him with us. So Nonong, the floor is yours.
Yes, Mr. Adonia, thank you. Julius, thank you for this opportunity, not only to introduce what I'm currently doing, but actually to introduce myself. So I came unprepared because I was actually here asked to talk about the idle land tax policy, enabling policy that we're doing right now. But thank you for wanting to know who I am and where I'm from, and I'll take the opportunity. I'm currently a consultant of the local government of Quezon City. I carry several hats. I'm the Sustainable Development Projects Officer of Quezon City. That's where my friend Joy Belmonte, who was a colleague in Ateneo, asked me to help her in her good governance campaign in the local government of Quezon City. However, when the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic came about, given my background, I was also given another task to be the co-chairperson of the Quezon City Food Security Task Force. Just as a quick educational background, I'm a true blue. I know there may be several here from Ateneo de Manila. I graduated in 1993 with a management engineering degree. But ever since then, I joined the Ayala Group and soon after joined the United Nations. However, my being a man for others has actually always brought me to service of country. And one of the areas that through the Alumni Association, where I was a board of director for the longest time handling um, social issues, spent a lot of time in a place in Quezon City called Payatas. And we had a partnership with another non-government organization called Gawad Kalinga. So I was actually a long volunteer of this group, Gawad Kalinga, with Tony Meloto. I don't know, maybe you've probably invited him to talk with you. And I'm a person who likes to do things on the ground. So we built several houses in the Payatas area through the Ateneo Alumni Association. And this is where I got to know the plight of our countrymen. But aside from that, I'm also an entrepreneur. Okay, so my first venture was with what we call now the industry called BPO, Business Process Outsourcing. We were the pioneers to establish medical transcription in the country. Uh, we were even before DTI and Mar Rojas. That's how early we were. We were a group of ideal Athenians trying to put together to create livelihood. Why do our countrymen have to go abroad where in fact they can actually earn a good living? And lo and behold, we are in the industry of BPO. However, there are things that are unplanned, things that are not something we dreamed of, but establishing an enterprise and building an industry that's unknown takes its toll. So if you can look at me now, I'm about 180 pounds. I peaked at around 230, 240. Okay, living the lifestyle of what you call the BPO industry now. Puyat, I mean, lack of sleep, uh, a lot of money, eating the wrong food, and this is where my journey. So I divested my shares in that company and did made I made it a little bit. But that's when now I took time to volunteer and help out, and that's where I joined Gawad Kalinga. And through Gawad Kalinga, we talked about social enterprises. So actually, I have a 12-year-old, 11-year-old social enterprise, which improves the lives of our farmers, and at the same time help bring healthier food. So from a 230 pound, I was able to bring down myself to 180 pounds. But as a social enterprise and having three daughters who are now currently in college, there are some challenges there as well because in terms of returns, it's still not going to help you bring your kids to college. Especially now, my eldest daughter is in AIM studying data science, and I have another one hopefully entering either UP or Ateneo. So where am I right now? I'm also a consultant. As I mentioned, my first career was with the UNICEF, and I had my second tour in 2015 to 2017, being part of a program called the Farm Business School program. For those who are part of the agriculture group, this is something that Senator Villar supported through the DAATI. I was the one who wrote the marketing module of that UNFAO model. So I was a former consultant for the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. Fast forward, that's where again my first job was to address sustainability. That's something that I do. But when the pandemic hit in 2020, the local government of Quezon City doesn't have an agriculture office, so they were kind of lost on how things done. Just as a slight trivia, prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, there was an animal pandemic called the African swine fever. And in Payatas, where I volunteered many hours, weekend warrior, I knew where the pigs were because that was the main livelihood of our beneficiaries for Gawad Kalinga. So that's where I shared during that time that the pigs have more dignity than humans because the pigs live in concrete houses where the humans live in tatered houses of patched wood and metal scraps. So this was an advocacy. So I knew how to execute what national government was trying to do to address the African swine fever. So I became the action officer during that short period prior to the human pandemic. And when the pandemic hit, uh, set aside all other tasks. We need to help out to address the pandemic. And our mayor, I'm happy that our mayor listened to our recommendations, wherein a human pandemic could definitely move into a hunger situation. Prior to the pandemic, I was looking into what we call hidden hunger, stunting, wasting, malnutrition. Okay. But once the pandemic hit, it became real hunger. Okay. And thus the establishment of the Quezon City Food Security Task Force, where I am a co-chairperson, and our objective is to establish availability, accessibility, safe and nutritious and continuous supply of food here in an urban setting. So in a nutshell, that's who I am and that's what we're doing. And I hope I can have also the opportunity to share what our program is, Grow QC, kasama ka sa pag-unlad sa pagkain, kabuhayan, kalusugan, wherein which one of the enabling policies that has led to its success is the establishment of the Idle Land Tax Amendment, which encourages urban farming. So unless there's any questions about my background and where I came from, I hope I could have access to a share screen so I can share to you our program. our food security program and specifically share to you the idle tax ordinance or amendment to the ordinance, which has enabled us to establish more than 700 urban farms and gardens in Quezon City.
Before we start, Nonong, first of all, you certainly walk your talk. I've heard about you before, and your life is most impressive. We'd like everybody to have access to you without going through bureaucracy. So can you give us, though you can put in chat box, give us verbally because the audience doesn't look at the chat box globally. So can you give us your contact number, office or cell phone, whatever number you like, please?
Yeah, I actually have it in my presentation, but I'll say it just the same.
Yes.
You can take a screenshot of my presentation, but you can reach me through my mobile number 0917-819-1988 or through my email, my official email with the Quezon City local government.
Lower, please.
Could you repeat 0917
0917-819-1988. Again, it's 0917-819-1988. I'll also type it in the chat box. And my email address is emmanuel.velasco@quezoncity.gov.ph.
Right. Okay. Well, first of all, no, we'd like to say we have 8 to 9 that's globally shown. The audience is about 600. Then there's the 9 to 10 where it's not globally shown anymore, and we can discuss some more there. But we'd like to say that the 8 to 9, which globally is viewed, is kind of very important. So, if possible, is your talk about 20 minutes or about how many minutes is your talk?
It's just very short. I can just go through it quickly, go to the idle land tax. But I have a short video that will actually explain our program.
That would be great. And then we have a few minutes for open forum. But I'd like the global audience to know this. He's kind enough to give us his actual cell number. Others give us office number. Thank you. And please free to contact him. And for those who are not in the global audience anymore, 9 to 10, we'll talk about action plans or we can support this, right? If we can, right? Okay. Please go ahead. And thank you for coming, Nana. Please go ahead.
Sir, just to let you know, kindly text me first and introduce yourself before you call. I don't pick up numbers that I don't identify.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Yes, thank you.
So may I have a screen share? Access.
Yeah,
So
you're good. You're good, Nonong. Please.
sure. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So this is quite a extensive presentation. I'll breeze through it. Again, our program, we have a Quezon City Food Security Task Force. And our food security program is called Grow QC, Kasama Ka sa Pag-unlad sa Pagkain sa Kabuhayan, Kalusugan. For our English-speaking audience, that means you are part of the solution in producing food, livelihood, and health. So this came about through the local and global prompts for food security. We just went through a global pandemic called the COVID-19. And yet, given a post-pandemic era, we still are experiencing high prices of food due to the disruption of the global supply chain, primarily initiated or instigated by the Russian-Ukraine war. Um, the objective of the food security task force is to try and feed, initially was to try and feed the most food vulnerable sectors of our society. But as we all know, food is an issue of all through all sectors and so all social classes. So Grow QC, or the Food Security Task Force, was established through Executive Order 32 series of 2020, wherein which its objective is to again meet the accessibility, availability, safetiness, and nutrition of food as well as its consistency. Um, to get to know about the program, kindly watch this video. It may be in Tagalog though. Sorry about that.
Wala kaming inaasahan na Pilsina, katapusan na sa... Ikaw lang yung nagpupush sa pamilya.
Noong time na yun, biglang nag-pandemic, 3,000 na yun, iniisip namin magkasama. Paano pagkakasyahin?
Dito na rin ako kasi yung minsan po ko ng yun nga, sustain na pang-ulam, ganyan. Tapos, na-encourage ako sa kanila, lalo na sa mga nanay na lockdown na nga sila. Ito, sige sila magtanim.
Yung mga gulay na na-harvest namin, binibenta namin.
Hungry man is an angry man.
Alam naman natin ngayon na nagkakaroon na ng food crisis. So itong urban farming ay napakalaking bagay kasi makakapagtanim tayo, maski nasa bahay tayo, ready tayo magtanim. Maraming pamamaraan. Yun ang kagandahan ng urban farming kasi napakadali in a short period of time, makakaani tayo, magkakaroon tayo ng pagkain. Ang kailangan lang sipag.
Isa ito sa mga pinaka-paborito kong proyekto. Patagal na po natin itong ginagawa dito sa lungsod. Naniniwala talaga ako na kaya natin maging self-reliant kahit na tayo ay isang urban city.
Ako'y natutuwa sa programa ito ng Grow QC na sa pamamagitan nito at sa pag-ani ng mga itinanim ay madala natin ito sa mga community boundaries. Pwede naman ng mga community kindness stations sa mga parokya na itinalaga ng ating diocese.
Ang Grow QCU kasi, hindi lang siya urban farming. Kailangan tingnan din natin yung pagdaloy ng pagkain or food systems or food flow. Ito pong dalawang to ang susi para maatim natin ang kawalan ng gutom. SDG 2, Zero Hunger.
Para nagabarangay Bagong Silangan nang nawala ang mga baboy namin dahil sa iisip, buti na lang nandyan po ang aquaculture atong sa aming pagkain sa bahay.
Karoon po kami ng mountain garden sa aming compound na although simentado lahat ang aming paligid, pero gumawa kami ng paraan para makapagtanim. Dahil pandemic ngayon.
Sabi nga po namin, halaman na ng pagmamahala dito dahil dito po nabuo ang napakagandang samahan ng bawat grupong ito.
Nakita ko dito, pamilya, pagdadamayan, pagkakaisa. Sabi ko nga sa kanila, isa para sa lahat, para sa isa.
Your mayor was one of the first to put up the Kaliwa. Mabilis siya nag-respond kagad nung nagtataas sa presyo. Kaya yung Quezon City, medyo model namin yan eh. Kaya kung kakayanin ng sistema rin yung Quezon City, kaya kakayanin yung mas maliliit. Naisip namin, dapat siguro, gawin na nating national program dahil lahat naman sa buong Pilipinas ay nangangailangan. Kaya maraming salamat sa LGU, Mayor, to the whole Quezon City government.
Hindi lang tayo nagtatanim. Nagpapakain din po tayo ng mga nanggugutom. Kailangan bigyan natin sila ng lakas. We need to empower them. We need to teach them how to fish. To give them hope. Sa panahon ngayon talaga, ang pinaka-importante ay bigyan natin sila ng pag-asa.
Thank you. I hope that gives a very quick and comprehensive understanding of what we're trying to do. This is just how our structure as the task force is put together. We don't have an office. We are a highly urbanized city. However, those departments that are engaged in livelihood, uh, open spaces, or food production that can be done are there at the same time for those that are involved in health. We are guided by a framework where there are two pillars. One is the strengthening of our urban gardening or self-sufficiency for our own food production. There are 4 action points here, which is not just growing food, but leading to feeding the most food vulnerable. But looking at the bigger picture of improving food systems. And this is where I am focused on right now. We're studying planning, we're studying where the locations of our markets are, and we're doing several efforts in terms of rescuing food and food surplus so that these can reach those that are most food vulnerable. As of today, we are, as of our annual report, mid-year of 2023, we have 754 urban farms and gardens. Majority are gardens. As you know, space is very hard to find in an urban setting. We've engaged about 18,850 urban farmers and gardeners. And through our Kadiwa Grow QC partnership in terms of creating food stores or food sites, we've moved around 527 tons of fresh produce from the provinces into our city that are affordable and accessible. Our program has given recognition in 2021 by winning the Galing Apok Awards, top 10, and in 2022, the Healthy Pilipinas Awards, as well as an international recognition as a finalist for the C40's Bloomberg Philanthropies Award. In 2023, DILG gave us the Exemplar Award, which actually they patterned their Hapag program, which is establishing urban gardens run by the barangay in all barangays all over the nation. So this is the award given last quarter of last year. Since the topic is what has the Quezon City government done in order to create this or to reach this success, one of many enabling policies, one is the establishment of the Food Security Task Force, but another one was really access to land. The food vulnerable people who need food don't have access to land. They're normally from the informal sector community, and yet they are the ones that are surrounding the villages. And it is in the villages where there is still a lot of idle land. And because we follow evidence-based policy and program and policy, evidence-based policy and program development, we did the mapping and we saw that idle lands need to be accessed for those who are vulnerable. The tendency is that we don't want people to squat on our land, and that's why we put high gates and walls. However, that's where we can produce land. And that's why the amendment of our current idle land tax enabled access to the food vulnerable and thus produce food for the city. We also have other enabling policies, but it may take more time to discuss all of those. In particular to the idle land tax, okay, idle land tax are passed on properties which are not used, anywhere from 3% from commercial to industrial and 1% for residential lots. Hold on. So there were already exemptions prior to this amendment, financial loss, civil disturbance, and the like. However, we added the amendment that landowners who are able to improve and promote the maximum use of their lands through a productive use of urban agriculture and urban agriculture related activities can exempt them through idle land tax. These are the criteria to qualify. The whole land or majority of the land should be devoted to urban agriculture. The landowner must allow or agree to use the land for a minimum of 3 years. And uh, the activity should be related to agriculture produce, whether it's for personal use or community use. You can't just plant and let the vegetables rot because it's not being harvested. Okay. And it's a simple process. The Quezon City simply, through the task force, issues a certification uh, to our assessor's office and treasury, and they will delist um, uh, the idle land tax from your property. So it's a simple AAC process. You have to apply by simply writing to us by saying that you intend to avail of the idle land tax exemption. Forms are available. You attach photos of the property to show your urban agriculture activity. And you need to attach a copy of any of the following documents: your idle land tax or CTC, land title or CTC, or your tax declaration, or your latest real property tax payment. And this will be assessed through a field inspection. And once seen that it's there, we issue a notice or certificate, send to our assessor's office, and they will inform that your property is delisted as one of that's being idle, and you can now avail of your idle land tax exemption. So every year we will do spot checking, and if there is an instance that it is stopped or no more urban agriculture activity, then idle land tax will be uh, issued again to your property. So thank you for listening. This is again my contact email address. Thank you.
Okay. Got some, I think some of your colleagues from the task force are joining us, Nonong. Oop.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, let me just. Okay. Sige. So thank you very much for that overview of everything that you've done. It's an interesting it's an interesting approach. Dare I say carrot and stick ata yung yung lumalabas dito sa ano in this program. I think that's a very interesting approach to that. Okay, so we move on now to our formal session. So the question and answer for the formal session. I would like to first acknowledge that today is actually the birthday of uh, one of our members, Oscar Barrera of Meralco Foundation. Oscar, happy birthday. We are very grateful always to the support of Meralco Foundation, and of course for Philex Sport for your work and what you do together with Philex Sport to try and improve the standing of Filipino goods throughout the world. So really important work that you've been doing. You've been doing it for a very long time. So happy birthday and thank you for everything that you do for the Philippine agricultural industry. Okay, sige. So anyway, so we move on to our formal session. As always for our formal session, just to lay a few ground rules down. If you'd like to ask a question, your first option is to raise your hand. So if you're on your computer, you can see the option for reactions at the bottom of your screen. If you don't see it, you can click the button that says more with the three dots. You should see reactions as an option there. Click reactions and then it will say raise hand. So like, for example, you can see me right now. I've got a little yellow hand on the top left corner of my video. That will line you up for any questions that you have. Failing that, you can leave your question in the chat box. Ask any questions that you have in the chat box. I will also line you up in the order that you raise your questions, and then I'll ask you to come online and answer that question as well. Really failing that, I'm going to ask Vivian for help. Vivian, please let me know if in case someone's trying to catch her attention. You can turn on your video. You can, wave at us and say, "Hey, I need to ask you something," and then we'll line you up for your question as well. Please do limit your questions during the formal session to one question at a time. If you have a follow-up, I'll allow one if it's very related to the question that you just asked. Otherwise, let's give way to other people who might have questions lined up behind you. Okay, so with that, may I invite our audience if you have any questions about today's for today's speaker, Nonong. Anyone from the chat or okay. I'd like to start actually, if that's the case. So Nonong, how have you found like is how have you found the acceptance of the use of the idle land tax? Definitely a lot of people it's very good for the local government because it's a bit of a win-win situation for you. It's either you are able to find ways to have that land be converted into urban farms or urban gardens, as you mentioned. You mentioned over 500 tons that you were of production that you were able to shift locally. That's very impressive. But is there another side to those numbers? Do you find that other people maybe they do other things with their land, like they may not necessarily like turn them into farms? Have they turned them into something else? Maybe they constructed a shed or they started turning it into a parking lot or something like that. We know that not everyone is as altruistic, shall we say, with the use of their land. So have you encountered experience? Do you have experiences like that that you'd like to share? And maybe are there ways that the task force is already trying to figure out to prevent, let's say, less productive use of the land, for example?
Well, the logic of the idle land tax is primarily to really utilize the property. Okay, that's to encourage to use it and not just simply to keep it and have appreciation. That's the purpose of putting an idle land tax because you do want development. But one of the things part of what we should consider is that the landscape is changing. The way cities are developing is changing. Okay, there are more individuals who live in an urban setting than in a provincial setting. And thus the emphasis now on more on the food systems. Idle lands are there, and it's just that we've already broken barriers wherein which we've allowed those in need of this land. Remember, we have other conflicting policies or legislation wherein which we have this proliferation of what we call squatters, okay, or informal settlers. And that has already created that, okay, it's so hard. I want to lend my land, but after lending my land, it's hard for me to take. Okay, that's the issue. However, by creating a program and a need wherein which the urban farmers are registered, are trained, recognized by the barangay, so it's not just simply an idle land tax and that's it. Because with the Lina law, anyone who stays inside your property has right of it. So we also talked to the landowners and got their point of view. And the idle land tax is just one of the many assurances wherein which we organize and capacitate the user and explain to them that you are here to borrow the land for food. Okay? And there are other side agreements which we recommend the landowners wherein which there has to be a written and ideally written agreement wherein which it is clear that no structures for living residents of these borrowing urban farmers should create. So we have a very nice community They won the Galing Pook Community Awards. It's a new award given by Galing Pook last year, where in which these are nanays, mothers, who take care of their children and either before or right after their children go to school, walk about 20 minutes to a subdivision they know of but never entered in their life until we created this policy. And they were welcomed by the community, okay? Because even the community now has a pick and pay within their subdivision. Okay? Senior citizens walk into the area, see nice greenery. Okay? We encourage companion planting so they see a nice flowers where before that idle land was actually a dumping site for construction material who had kogon or high grass. Okay? We need open spaces, and not just open spaces, we need beautiful open spaces. Okay? In an urban setting. So again, all we did was try to create models to inspire people. Okay? And there we've allowed communities to talk, from the homeowners association and to the nearby what we call villagers, the people beside the village who normally do our services. There are drivers, there are lavanderos or people who wash our clothes, there are gardeners, and we have to create a society of acceptance and respect. And I think that's what we've done. And there are a lot of intangibles, people who who cannot gainfully get jobs, okay, find dignity now because at least I can feed my children. It's there's such a great satisfaction to say that I'm a productive member of society. Okay, just by simply feeding my and then here's the funny part. And you know this, those who are into agriculture. When there's excess, imagine a slum dweller giving. Because when they have okra, the okra produces every day, they get so, how do you say it? They so sawana. Okay? They're fed up of their okra. They give it to the neighbors in the village. And the neighbors appreciate it. So the neighbors now who have excess bread or excess rice give it to them. So it's such a beautiful exchange of human interaction just because we created an environment for them to work out societal problems. It is not just the government's job. We just created an enabling policy and we allowed humans to find solutions that benefit all of them.
Okay. Sige. Thank you very much for that. I see that Vicky Winicky has her hand raised. Vicky, please come in.
Wow, I love the presentation. Thank you, sir. I know I am Vicky Winicky from Kabisigan, Kalay, and we've worked very, very well with Quezon City.
Hello, ma'am.
We did the food share program when it was just being piloted, and we worked with Francis Ian Agatep. Wait, am I coming in clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. We worked with Francis Ian Agatep on the Sustainable Development Affairs Unit from with the Office of the Mayor, and Mayor Joy and I have worked, been working together for the longest time. We did our first 1,000 days with your Quezon City Health Department, and it was a wonderful, very, very successful program. And now I hear about your idle land tax exemption. That's fantastic. I don't. Maybe we can talk more about it if you don't mind. I'll call you. The messaging that I saw in your video is exactly what we do too. The food share program that we started, we piloted in one of that was Quezon City, had the same goals and outcomes, and so we're again coming in Payatas, And I don't know if I should contact Francis Ian Agatep again, or should we work with you? We'd like to, hearing what you're doing, maybe we can just work together and do the same thing and more. I can come in with a budget and other enrichment programs that we can do to level up the lives of the beneficiaries that we will select in Payatas. If that's okay with you.
Hi, Ma'am Vicky. My name is
Yes.
Nonong. Ian Agatep is my staff. And this is the
Okay.
first time I can personally thank you face to
Yes.
face for your support. Just to get the others involved, when we were trying to establish urban farms, you know that when you plant food, it's not there tomorrow. Okay? It takes a couple of months before fruiting vegetables start to bear fruit. Okay, 30 to 45 days before
Yeah.
what do you call this, green leafy vegetables can be fed. But hunger was there already. So the partnership with Ma'am Vicky was that they provided the food while the urban gardens were being set up. So thank you, because somebody who's hungry won't think of doing and moving, right, ma'am? So
I
thank you for helping us bridge that gap. Okay. But the beauty of it is that it wasn't forever. It was clear that it was an enabler, a starter. Okay. And just to let you know, ma'am, that community that you helped establish, they're actually trading rice already through
wow,
urban,
wow, well, that's
peri-urban
wonderful.
partnerships. Okay. They
I
created themselves into a cooperative or a dole group, and they're doing
ah,
collective buying. That's
I
another form of food systems improvement, where if
leveling
we,
up.
yeah, if we come together as collective buyers, we can actually now connect to cooperatives in the provinces, and we're doing models that enable us to connect. One of the bigger challenges is that our farmers are blind in terms of the demand. It's always the middlemen giving them this or the management of what they are producing. And that's why every now and then or quite often there is surplus, just simply because they don't know how much we should produce. So we're doing our own small way. The Food Security Task Force is putting together studies right now with CGIAR and foreign groups to try and establish what is the food consumption demand. And our offer is to share this, to organize cooperatives so that we can maximize certain laws like the Sagip Saka Act, to connect LGU needs or sectoral needs to producing groups in the provinces. So ma'am, thank you for that. I hope that
Sige.
program, or we can
Ah,
talk about other programs where we can collaborate with your organization. Thank you.
gardening way before pa, matagal na yan eh. Talagang gusto niya yung ano, hindi ba? He was already doing that urban gardening way before this pandemic. And
Yes.
you even made it bigger and nicer and with more successful initiatives. How nice.
Well, yes, just to tell you, since you mentioned it, our urban farming program is already 12 years. Mayor
Yes.
Joy Belmonte was still vice mayor when she introduced it.
That's
However, we experienced the heightened growth during the pandemic when people are just at home. A lot are hungry. But to be honest with you, there are many naysayers for mayor saying, hey, we're a modern city. Why do we want to do agriculture? But mayor is a visionary, and I don't know if you know, but I'm here to say that she is the only local government official identified by the United Nations uh, as a Global Earth awardee. Okay, because of her efforts. Because like anything else, you have money, but you live in a dirty city, diba? What's the point? Okay. Uh,
okay. So may I get in touch with you for Payatas? Let's work again together. Thank you very, very much.
we look forward to it, ma'am.
All right. So thanks very much for that, Vicky. So Nonong is it's 9 o'clock. So first of all, let's give our appreciation to Nonong Velasco for his service this morning. So the Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation, in partnership with the Management Association of the Philippines, together with all our members, our special partner institutions, senior special partner institutions, corporate members and individual members, all present this certificate of appreciation to Emmanuel Q. F. Velasco II for his invaluable support in the advocacy and promotion of agribusiness and countryside development, and for his commendable and unselfish services rendered to this foundation as our resource speaker, given on our 7th weekly online meeting of 2024, this 20th day of February in Makati City, Philippines. Signed, Ernie Ordonez as our chairman and myself as our president. Now may I invite everyone to please turn on your cameras for a quick group photo. Documentation is very important in this day and age.
Well, Julius,
Everyone?
thank you for inviting me. I just want to acknowledge and thank you. And I think one of the questions asked was, how can you help? Get to know our programs. And if you feel we have the same vision, and we can partner, we were not able to accomplish this without the help of our private partners. Support local produce, get to know if there are urban farms in your area. And last but not the least, we're pushing towards food rescue programs. We're working with Tanging Yaman Foundation and other groups who are doing similar. So for those groups who are interested in that, do reach out. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much. Visionary talaga sa QC. All right, sige. So, may I invite everyone to turn on your cameras? Vicky, Elsa, Dean, Chrissy, Ernie, Villaluna. You know, we'd love to see your faces. Big smiles, everyone.
Okay, sir. How about this po?
Sure, right.
Okay po.
Meron na.
Smile on 3, 1, 2, 3. Thank you po.
All right, thanks very much, everyone. Okay, so yes, so now we move. So for those of you who are joining us this morning, thank you very much, and please do stay on for our informal session where we continue our conversation after this one. But for those of you who are joining us 2 weeks later through our social media uploads, I'm very sorry. This is the limit of what you can get for free. We hope today's session has been of value to you, especially considering that this was a session more focused on policy. Again, as I mentioned, perhaps you are involved in similar projects in your particular area, in your locality. Perhaps you are a member of your local government or your own national government. If so, we're very flattered and honored by your joining us. And perhaps this is a policy that may be of interest to you. And if so, we'd be very happy to continue sharing or to link you up with that. If this session has brought you value in that way, you have questions or comments or other things that you'd like to know, please do leave a comment below, or you can email us through our links in the description. Or if you feel like you'd like to join us for our informal sessions, engage with the speaker more, or gain access to our wide network of agribusiness and countryside development organizations, consider joining us as a member. Once again, the Agribusiness and Countryside Development Foundation is in partnership with the Management Association of the Philippines, and it's only through your generosity and support that we're able to bring you everything we do. So we hope that you would consider becoming our member or donating to us. Our links are in the description. You can you can introduce yourself, and we'll be very happy to have you on board. But unfortunately, again, as I've said, this is the limit of what you can see for free. And we bid you farewell. We'll see you in our next session. Bye-bye.